you want to set for the day, everyone's going to get a 10% or 20%, whatever discount coupon they can use. So it's almost like you're having them all buy more stuff, because once a certain target is hit, then a coupon will be released to the customers for that day. Does that make sense? Like, you want to kind of incentivize activity, and you can keep track of the activity because they're placing orders essentially.
So you want to give them a coupon once they reach a certain total amount in their cart, basically?
I guess you're familiar with Teespring, right? The T-shirt folks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with Teespring, people place orders, but not a single shirt gets produced until a certain minimum volume has been reached, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking here, where it's not that nothing gets produced. Everyone's placing an order that day, but as soon as we hit our 100th order for the day, we release a coupon. So this way, people are kind of incentivized, like, hey, instead of getting 2 fries, get 3, because we're that much closer to getting that threshold.
Right.
So I'm just trying to think of different ways we can kind of, again, push the envelope a little bit, and also get some more, obviously, ROI for the customer.
So, and we can totally do that. The only thing that we're gonna have to figure out how we want to do that is it's gonna be a little bit hard to automate the pushing out because we have no way to automate pushing out the content to multiple users, right? Now we could go in and have some keyword where we just in our current flows, we can go in and say, add a little button in our current flow that says coupon, right? So we can go in and say, let's just call this crowdsource coupon, right? Because that's essentially what we're doing. So in here, we could have some flow. And in this guy, we could basically say, do you want this coupon? And we could basically do this from anywhere that we want. So we just be like, yes, give me that, right? So now inside here, we could just go in and have some condition. The only thing that I don't like about this is right now we don't have any global variables in Zapier. So the variable itself is completely unique to some user. So what that means that I need to first go in and create some action and send out some action to Zapier to look up, let's say externally from some Google spreadsheet or some Zapier storage, a value that holds globally, a value that represents all my French fries orders. Now I can go out and with this Zapier, I can send out data to go fetch that from some Google Sheet and then pipe that data back from that Zap, pipe that data back into the user's custom field, which is a unique value per user, but in this instance, we would treat as a global value that's just non-normalized and it's repetitive for every user. Every user has the same field. Every user has the same value in there once this process is actually triggered. So now we can go in and actually do that. And then from here, we could have some actual condition block that goes in and actually checks,
right.
Is French fry order equal to or greater than 100? If yes, deliver coupon here. If not, deliver message that says, hey, here's a French fry card, share this with your friends, tell your friends to order some French fries because we only need X amount more before I'll give everybody a free French fry with their order of French fries. So you're literally getting
whatever it might be.
Right. Whatever it could be. Right. What we're not going to be able to automate, though, is to have a completely automated process where once that global field reaches 100 or that external global field reaches 100, that now everybody in our bot that was buying those French fries could instantly receive some coupon like congratulations. They're going to have to do some trigger inside. They're going to have to trigger some process manually by clicking a button or clicking a quick reply or giving us a keyword coupon, daily coupon, to be able to go in and actually receive that coupon or go through the process of checking the conditions to see if that coupon is available based on the crowdsource everybody buying French fries.
Let me ask you this, John. This might actually leverage your payment processing software. So let's look at this scenario. Let's assume you have a course, right? That you're putting out there on how to develop bots. Great. Your course normally sells for $9.95, let's say, right? And you're saying, okay, cool. My course is out there for $9.95, but since you guys are all on the webinar learning now here live with me, if you want to place the order, great. Here's the link. Go process it. If we reach 100 orders today, you're all going to get a coupon code automatically attached to your order, which will drop the price from $9.97 to $5.97, but only if we reach 100 orders, right? So in other words, people now have already paid you, or at least I should say they have processed the order for payment, but because it's your own payment processing engine you have, you can hold that actual transaction in the queue, right? And basically now, if 100 orders have tallied through, then you would be able to apply a discount coupon to all those in the queue prior to sending it off to Stripe. But something like that could be kind of cool, because now you're not just relying on 1 or 2 or 3 sales to happen individually and having the crowd sort of motivate themselves based on the webinar content. There's actually a gamification going on, right? Where you're saying, hey, listen, guys, $9.97, no problem. I'll take your money. You'll get great value. But if we reach 100 orders today, the price is going to drop for all of you.
Right.
And I'm not going to charge your card until the webinar is over.
Right. So I'll get you a 50% discount. So you just get your friends, invite them into the webinar.
Exactly.
Tell them.
Exactly. So, but now there's a big incentive in there. And that only works because you have your own payment engine behind that allows you to hold processing of that order until a certain time or whatever has been reached. Right?
Right.
If the conditions met, then you would apply a global coupon across all the orders in the queue. That could be kind of cool.
Right. And it could totally work, but what I'd have to do is I'd have to go into this platform, and I'd have to basically do something like allow you to create some product invoice, and then whenever you're creating this actual product invoice, give you the options to say, first, I want to pre-authorize this only. I want to pre-authorize this only right now, and I want to capture X amount of time later or at the static time frame. And then I'll need to be able to go in and give some value as far as when to offer a discount, and then figure out how to pipe that data in here, which I could do through Zapier probably. So it would take for my part probably a substantial amount of engineering. It would probably take I would say probably take me and a couple engineers probably like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, having a powwow on what the use case is for that, how it would actually work to bring it to a generic modularized function that could be used for several different use cases.
That's right.
And then, so if it's going to take me and let's say 2 engineers 3 hours to talk about it, I could say that's going to be minimum 80 hours at least, that it's going to then be in a production setting to
beta testing and a whole bit. But the point here is that this would become a unique mechanism, right? Which is not available through Stripe, through PayPal, or through anything else. And for anybody who's doing a webinar or something like that, where they have a semi-high ticket item, and they want to incentivize volume, this is an interesting way to do that.
Totally. It'd totally be interested in it. And I'd be maybe interested in having a conversation offline with you to explore ways that we could actually pursue it, because it seems like if you see the need for it or the use for it, that you could be potentially a good person to go in and market it and find the right people that would be willing to pay for it, so we could basically work out some deal where we could go in and build it, and then you could take care of actually getting the people to understand what it is and how it works, and getting them to pay some premium to be able to have that functionality. But yes, it's totally something.
Let's talk offline then, because that could be an interesting concept. Well, you have a much deeper background than I do, obviously, but I do come from a systems development and marketing side, so that's where some of these pushing the envelope questions are coming from.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it because you do that, and it benefits everybody that's on these sessions because you really push those things, and we figure out a lot of new solutions just based on you asking these questions. So I really appreciate the questions because it gets my mind thinking, and then it gives everybody else, it gets their mind thinking, and then they get to take advantage of actually seeing the whole process unfold on how. I guarantee you, if you take half the questions that happen on my training sessions, I guarantee you take half the questions that happen here and you just go post them in mini chat, and most people will just say that you can't do that, you can't do that. That's not possible. And most things you can do. I mean, pretty much anything you want to do, you can essentially do. It's just the amount of time you're willing to invest in thinking about it, brainstorming it, and then actually implementing it. So, and even most things that people tell you can't do at all, you just ask me and give me a little bit of time to think, and then I'll come up with 4 or 5 different ways that you can actually do it if you actually want to do it. So,
a separate question, John, could you walk us through a little bit how the email scraper that you have put together works?
Yeah, that one's really, really simple. So, that one's really, really simple. So if you guys want to know what he's talking about, if you just go to this demo bot and you ask him find emails, and then, for example, if we look at, let's say we look at this Invoicing You platform, and we see, does this guy right here, does he have any email address? Doesn't look like he does. Let's look at this contact section here and see if this contact section just routes to my web page, and this guy does actually have some email down here in this contact section. He has some email listed on his page. So if we just go in and grab this web page right here, and we give this back to the bot right here, where right now this bot is in some loop where he wants an email address. So let's give him that email address. Now that we did that, now we can say find emails. And now he's going to go in and say, you can find emails from any web page. Just give me the web page, and we'll give him some web page, and he'll do a little process, and he'll do a little bit of thinking, and then he should return back to you. Here's that email that we found on that particular web page. So this is pretty straightforward. We could just look here and do find emails, and we find that zap really quick, and we can see that he's pretty much just powered by a custom piece of JavaScript, and this custom piece of JavaScript literally just takes the URL provided by the user in step 1. It takes that URL and inputs it here as a variable called URL, and then this is just Node. So this is just operates on Node 4.3.2 natively. The only bad thing about this is you can't inject any dependencies. You can just only use standard Node libraries, but as a standard Node function, you have a fetch, which basically just fetches some data. So we fetch that URL. So basically we get the raw HTML content of that URL. So essentially what we just got is this right here. We got all this content right here. And then all we do is we use a regex, a pattern matching regex, to match things that we know match the pattern of an email that are not images. Because what we'll find is a lot of modern day technologies will use image at 40 by 40 image.png. And then this guy is a SAS variable that these guys, depending on SAS and depending on the browser screen, the preprocessor for Gulp or Grunt will go in and pre-process and figure out some variables in the browser, and based on based on some data coming from your screen resolution, will go in and change these guys, and you'll just have a bunch of different images with these guys. And this now allows you to if you do this allows you to eliminate a lot of the inline CSS that's going to cause some rendering delay, because you don't have to inline give a width and height for the image, because it's literally given already in this. Yeah. So now if we don't include these little blocks here, then what you would see is a lot of the emails that you're given back are actually those SAS images. So we just ignore those actual images. So all we do is we grab, and you can see really simple function here. So we go in.
But it's a custom JavaScript, correct?
Yeah, it's just a custom little piece of Node that goes in.
So
and
how would you alter this JavaScript so it does not stay simply at the surface level of the domain? Because what it's not doing is going levels deeper, correct? It just stays at that base level. Whatever address you gave it, that's where it stays. It doesn't go any deeper than that.
Correct. So, so I would not edit this guy, by the way. I would not edit this guy. So if I wanted to do that surface level guy, what I would do is actually replace this guy. I would replace this guy with this AWS Lambda function, and I would go in and write I would go into AWS Lambda, because AWS Lambda uses the same thing. AWS Lambda is just, it allows you to create a truly stateless environment. So most of our
John, I'm sorry, I don't want to distract everybody else. This may not be as useful to them because it's not something they'll be able to replicate possibly unless they have some coding background. So this is helpful for me, but it may not be helpful for everybody else. I want to be respectful of everybody else who's on the line.
So that's what I would do. I would actually write this Lambda function, though. I would replace this custom node function, because this custom node function is not going to allow me to write a recursive method. So if I were to come in here into this template and I were to want to say inside here that I would want to actually write some function in here, fetch URL, and write that function, I would not be able to come inside here and make a recursive call to this function, because they're not going to allow me to do that recursive. And that's how I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to actually have to use a recursion, and I'm going to have to go in, and I'm going to want to have this, but I'm also going to want to have a variable that is grabbing those A links and grabbing the hrefs from those A links, and then checking those hrefs to make sure that the link that I'm grabbing in that A tag, in that link tag, actually matches the same domain that I initially started looking at. And as long as I match that, then I can continue to several levels deep, and I can recursively call my own function and begin to append my data that way, and then finally return back my data. So I'd engineer a new function that could be recursive using AWS Lambda.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. So let me answer your question real quick, Amir. Let's see, you're still there. So one more question, please. Let's say I have a restaurant and I build a bot for him to get the orders and client details. How will he receive that data? Zap. And if he is not tech geek, maybe he will confused about how to process the orders that he will receive from the bot. So great. If the guy's not a tech geek, great. I love that guy that's not a tech geek, because that guy that's not a tech geek, I'm a wizard to him. He just thinks I'm some magical genie, and he's going to pay me a real high value for my service, because he has no idea what I'm talking about, no idea what I'm doing, so I can get a higher value from him. Two, if he doesn't know how to do it, I can get you in a higher value for him, because I can offer him some paid training. I can say, hey, look, you just pay me, $1,000, and I'll give you 15 hours worth of my time. I'll come in face to face. I'll train all your employees how to do this process. I'll train you and all your employees how to go in and process these orders really easily, so you won't have to do it again. It will be a one-time payment for that training. I'll make sure when the training's done, everybody knows how to do what needs to do to process these orders. And then how will he receive that data? Any way that he wants. I'll ask him, how do you want to receive this data? You want to receive new orders via email? You want to receive new orders right into your CRM? Well, or right into your payment processor or your ERP, or whatever you're actually using for your transaction, because you're probably already having some order management system for your restaurant. Do they have an open source API? If so, then I could just build some custom webhook in Zapier to put those datas right inside that system. So I'm going to talk to this guy and figure out how he wants those delivered. But it could be as simple as email. It could be simple as I'll pipe them out to a spreadsheet for you, and then you can just go check those spreadsheet, and you can update that, because that's literally right now. That's literally right now how things are actually being done on my demo bot. So on my demo restaurant bot, on my demo restaurant bot.
How are ya?
I'm doing great. How you doing, man?
Yeah, good, man, good. Sorry, keep going.
So on my bot, I literally just go in and pipe all these orders to the spreadsheet, give a date there, and then just give a value of new so that they can go in and actually process. They can just go in and update this that it's cooking. Now this guy will go in, and once this Zap fires, he'll get a notification that his order status has changed from new to cooking. And if this is fine for him, I'll just go in and I'll ask him, is this fine like this for you? If this is fine, then I'll just implement this. I'll train you and your guys how to go in and do this. If this isn't fine, then it is getting an email fine. If that's fine, then I'll go in and set it up that way. I'll just talk to the client, find out how he wants, what works for him, and I'll build my stuff out accordingly. And is there a way for the client on Messenger that his order is on the way? So yeah, I know that this guy's, I know one of these guys must be me. So, one of these guys must be me. So I'm just going to say that, hey, this is out for delivery. So I'm just going to update that. And then now I'm going to come in down here and I'm going to update all these guys that they're out for delivery. And then I'm going to come back in here to my Zaps and I'm going to find over here, update. Nope. Should be here. Update. Where could that guy be? Maybe that guy's right here. Let's check and see if he's right here first and see if that update is here. Nope, that guy isn't there. So let's check over here and see maybe this guy is I can find him with order. So order, clear order, update, order status. Oh, so I spelled update wrong because what I did, because I suck at spelling. So let's just change that real quick so that I can easily find him next time. So now I've got this update order. Let's just go ahead and run that guy. And then let's come over here and look, and I should see that I'm going to get some, I can see that some of these actually failed because this user ID it says was actually missing. So it says some of these guys was actually missing here. So some of these Zaps actually failed. So I'm just going to change that to delivered. And I can see right now that I've already got some messages right here. See, my order status has been updated to out for delivery. So yeah, so I can do that. I can go in and let him know that his order is on the way if he wanted delivery. I can go in and update him as soon as somebody updates that spreadsheet. Now there is a 5-minute delay, and that 5-minute delay has nothing to do with me. It has to do with Zapier, but I can manually override that if I just go find that Zap and I hit run that Zap. So I can just train my client, hey, if you're going to go in and update a lot of these, then just go in and run this process if I'm giving them access to all that. Or I can just say, you know what, hey, after you update this, your guy's going to get a notification maximum 5 minutes after you update this. So go in and update it as soon as you are actually updating the order process. So yeah, I can go in and push this data back to him and send him a notification via Facebook. I can do almost anything. I can do almost anything that I want, which means you guys can do almost anything that you want. The only limitation that you have is your knowledge of being able to actually do it, which is why you should attend these sessions, because I'll tell you exactly how to do this stuff. Right, Junior? That's what we do here, man. We just tell people how to do shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I'm just here to learn.
Well, I'm just here to make sure that you guys are learning. So
you're happy, I'm happy.
So what else you guys want to see, talk about, learn?
That you're just going through a bit of some of that Zapier, that zapping stuff. What does that do?
That allows us to automate pretty much anything that we want to do. So if we want to integrate with any type of third-party API, we're going to have to do that with Zapier. If we want to get data outside of our bot, if we want to get data somewhere else, we got to use Zapier. If we want to use some data inside our bot to do something else somewhere else with some other application, we got to use Zapier to do that. So Zapier is kind of like if you like Robin Hood, you know who Little John is in Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He's that guy with the stick that if you want to pass the bridge, you got to go through that guy. So Zapier is literally our Little John. If we want to integrate with some other application through ManyChat, we got to go through Zapier to do that.
Yeah, sweet.
And no, you don't need the premium version of Zapier. You can totally use the free version, but if you're doing demo bots and you got people in there and those demo bots, then Zapier limits your time. Zapier limits you got to wait 15 minutes between a Zap being triggered. That's the limitation with that free account. And they also limit you to how many Zaps that you can have per month, how many actual actions that can actually process. So you can totally use the free account until it's just not cutting it for you anymore, and then you can go in and actually update it. So I definitely recommend that whenever you. So like for me, if it's for me and I'm setting this up for my client is never going to have the option to use the free version of Zapier. He's going to use the premium version of Zapier, whether he's getting it right now today or not. So what I would do with my client is I'm going to say from day one, you're paying this $200 a month premium fee to use Zapier. Now, if you're not using it from day one, I'll put you on the free version until I need to actually upgrade you. And if it takes 2 months for you to get there, then I'm going to keep that extra $200 in my pocket. And once you actually get there, I'll go in and upgrade you, because essentially for my clients, for the most part, what typically happens with clients is clients always want to save money, right? So they always want to get the cheapest service possible. So no problem, I'll give you the cheapest service possible. But whenever I'm giving you those cheapest service possible, I'm going to work myself into the deal that you're going to continuously pay me for my service. So one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm going to own all your accounts. Your Zapier account, I'm going to set that up. I'm actually going to control that. I'm going to own that. I'm going to pay the fee, and then I'm going to recoup the fee from you. You're going to prepay me, and after you prepay me, then I'll go in and pay those guys, because I'm not going to give you some cheap-ass rate and then work myself out of a job. So if you want to pay some real cheap rate, then I'm going to guarantee that you're going to be constantly paying me. Now, you want to pay at a higher premium, then I'll set all this stuff up on your own. You can control it. You can maintain it. That's fine. Got no issue with that. But for that, you need to pay a premium. If you don't want to pay that premium, then I'm going to control all this stuff for you. And then, like I said, right off the bat, you're paying for that $199 a month, whether or not you're using it or not. If you're not using it, I'm going to pocket that $200 a month because I like money, and money's great. And then once you actually need that $200 a month plan, then I'll just go in and actually upgrade you. But totally, you can start from the beginning. And it depends on the client. So most of the time, yeah, I'm gonna have that client go in and set up their own Zapier account, and that's completely up to you. In my recommendation, I would totally tell you that you need to tell the client that they have to have a Zapier account. You're going to set that up for them, and it's going to cost them X amount a month. Whether you set it up for them or whether you use your own account, that's completely up to you. Use your own account if you want to. Set their own account up if you want to. That's completely up to you and how you want to do business. But you want to tell your client, you need this, you're paying for this. So you got to have this, you're paying for that. Now, I got 10 clients. All 10 of them need a Zapier account. They're all going to pay for that Zapier account. Let's say I just create all their Zaps in my account. No big deal. All their Zaps are created in my account. They still essentially have a Zapier account, and it's my account. And literally now I got 10 people that are basically crowdsourcing and paying for my Zapier account, which means my Zapier account is free. Plus I made some profit from it as well by having them pay for it. But definitely definitely they need it. So, you need the account. Why am I going to pay for it? I'm not going to pay for it. You're definitely going to pay for it because you need it whether I set your own up or not. So that's really just depends on how you want to do business and how you're actually trying to operate. So I can't really advise you on that. You can do it either way that you want to. So what else?
John.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Hey, you know, like ClickFunnels and stuff like that, and people like getting the emails for the email list. Is that all like going towards like ManyChat and stuff like that?
Right now, there's
Can you do a funnel through ManyChat?
Yeah, so right now there's a big sway in it. So right now there's a big sway where people are really now going over heavily to this messenger side. But I'm going to tell you, don't give up those emails. Keep getting those email addresses from people.
Okay.
One, you can use them for lots of different things. If Facebook decides to say, hey, screw all you guys, we're closing down this platform because we do this all the time because if Facebook realizes that having all these bots are creating an annoyance in their user base, trust me, they're going to tell you guys to go screw off. They're going to close the whole platform down, and they're going to retain their user base because that's where they're getting their billions of dollars from. So they're not going to lose their billions of dollars so that you guys can make money. So you want to always have that fallback. Even if that never happens, you can still go in and create custom audiences and target specifically just to those email addresses and your ads. So you totally want to keep getting those email addresses. Now,
okay.
Now, if you send somebody out an email versus a Facebook message, which one are they going to interact with first? Most likely the Facebook message. They're most likely going to interact with that Facebook message, and they'll instantly deal with that Facebook message, whereas it's going to take them a day, 2-3 days to go in and read that email and actually deal with that email if they even look at it at all.
Yeah, okay. Cool. What about the ClickFunnels and stuff? You can have that all set up as same sort of thing in ManyChat?
So I'm not really understanding what you're saying there, but typically what people do with ClickFunnels is they create some page like this that is offering you something for free to go in and get your email address. So they're like, hey, give me this email address. I'll give you some ebook, or, I'll let you watch my video on how to skin a cat 5 different ways or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do that totally inside ManyChat. You could go in and say, hey, want this free ebook? Hey, want this free video? Want to watch this video? Want this ebook? Want a 30-minute one-on-one session with me? Because people do that all the time on ClickFunnels. Says, hey, I'll evaluate your ad campaign for nothing but your email. So you can go into ManyChat and create a flow that says, hey, I'll give you this. If you give me this, what do you need to give me? Give me your email. Once you give me this, then I'll go in and deliver you this piece of content. So what your best way would be to do that, though, go in and collect their email address. All right. Then you'll go in and collect their email address. Then you want to create some growth tool. You want to create some growth tool, specifically something just like this reference URL. You want to create this guy. So now you want to create their email address. You want to send their email address out to Zapier. You want to send them out an email, and inside that email, put that ref link so that now they physically have to verify that the email that they gave you was a valid email that they in fact can receive emails at. Now they can just click that link. And now you can write back through Messenger when they click that link. You can deliver more premium content.
I see.
The email doesn't do you any good if it's not a valid email, obviously. So if you just let somebody give you an email, a@me.com, and then bam, you got premium content going out to them. That didn't really help you that much. You got a real crappy garbage email address that you can't do anything with. So you probably want to add some step to go in and actually send out an email. And then at that email, you could deliver them the content right then and there. Or you could go back in, and if you want to do marketing in Messenger, then I would say don't give them the content right there. Give them that extra step and say, now click this link to verify your email, and you'll get your content. Now they click that link. Now you can give data back to ManyChat and tag the user, email verified, deliver him out his content. And now you know, hey, dude's gave me an email and he's given me a valid email. Because now what you can do is now you can go in and have some flow, verify email, or hey, asshole, give me valid email. That could be your flow. And you can go in and say, I want to target everybody whose email address has a value but are not tagged that they have a valid email. Because I know all those guys now essentially gave me some garbage data, and I can push that flow back out to them, and I can say, look, remember I asked for your email. Remember you gave me some fake email address. So how about you give me the real email address and go in and validate it and verify it, and then I'll give you out your content that I've been promising you.
So you got the email and you got them subscribed to your email and your messenger.
Right. And I mean, for my opinion, grab their phone number while you're at it too. I mean, trust me, sometimes people won't reply to Facebook. If you send them a text message, they'll reply just like that. So market, what you want to do, honestly, is you want to ask that guy, how do you want to get information from me? You want me to send it to you via text? You want me to call you? You want me to email? You want me to send it to you in Messenger? You want me to send you a physical piece of mail? So you find out from them what they want and you cater to them. Because if you cater to them, they're going to pay you a premium for you. They're going to realize that, hey, this guy is catering to me. He's asking me what I want. He's just not doing whatever the hell he wants and what benefits him. He's getting that information from me. And most people don't do that. Most people are going to be like, you know what, you're getting my emails and that's it. Or you're getting my messages and that's it. You're getting my phone calls and that's it. Might as well just ask the guy. If you ask the guy and get his input and do what he's asking you to do, that's a great sales tactic. That's a good value add. You just ask them and do what they want.
That's so good.
So
I've got another question.
Yeah,
you go,
sure.
John.
Yeah, sure. So let me just answer this guy real quick. I said that I was preferring that I pay for Zap and charge extra fee from the client rather than explain to them what Zapier is and why they need it. So I prefer to make their life easier and just charge them. Another thing similar, that since ManyChat charge you monthly up to the number of subscribers, I thought about charging them monthly up to the number of their subscribers rather than tell them, okay, let me be the admin of ManyChat account and I'll pay. Then I found that they cloned my bot and kicked me out. Some clients turned to be assholes sometimes, and they don't want to pay anymore because they think that what you do is something that they can do easily. So I'm going to tell you, Amir, that I would reevaluate your approach for looking for clients, reevaluate your approach to pre-qualify that client, and definitely reevaluate your approach to explaining to that client the value that you add. Because trust me, if I ever get a client, if there's any client that ever tells me, John, I can do what you can do easily, I'm going to fucking laugh my ass off at that guy. And I'm going to say, look, okay, fine. I got 10 other clients paying me to do this crap. I'm going to start paying you money. You do it for me if you're so good. I'm going to laugh at him because my clients will never tell me that, because I am going to constantly, every time we have a conversation, every time we have an interaction, I'm going to remind them what they pay me for, why they love me so much. I'm going to remind them that you can't do what I can do easily. Even if you can do what I can do easily, even if you can do what I can do, if you can do easily, you will not be able to do it at the cost that I can do it. You're going to have to spend your time, and I'm going to price my service where the value that you have for your time is proportionally less than the amount of money that I'm going to charge you to do the exact same thing. So what? Big deal. You can do exactly what I do easily. Now you're going to go in and spend 10 hours of your time doing what I can do. I was going to charge you some $200 an hour to do that. So what do you value your own time at? You only value your own time at $20 an hour? Well, then you must not be worth that much. So probably what you should do at that point, if you only value your time at $20 an hour, you should just keep paying me that $20 an hour, and you should go put yourself in some personal training and get a better skill set so that you can have a higher value than $20 an hour for your own damn time. So you're just not doing a really good job explaining to them and walking them through point by point what you bring to the table, why they want to employ you. So you need to focus on doing that and make sure that you're doing that. And then you also need to go in, and if if you don't want to lose client span, then you need to put yourself in a position where they can't walk away from you. So you need to first now some clients aren't going to like that. Some clients are going to want some no strings attached where they can walk away easily. So that guy, then you go after a higher amount for that guy. You say, no problem at all. If I can't actually forecast and run my business based on knowing some revenue that I'm going to get from you, then I'm going to collect that today. I'm going to get that revenue from you today. I'm going to charge you a higher premium so that now you have a redundancy plan. And in my proposal, I'm going to outline to you redundancy plan. You're going to own all this stuff up. I'm going to set this stuff up for you. I'm going to document it. I'm going to transfer it to you so that you own everything and you do not physically need me. And I'm going to outline to you in my proposal the additional value for that, because trust me, if you don't go in and show somebody every single little piece of value that you're giving them, and that right there, setting things up in a way that you don't need me, you can easily switch from me to somebody else and not experience any service outage, be able to continue with your operation easily. If that is a huge value. So you just go in and outline, I'm going to do things this way, which is going to create this huge additional value for that. So I'm going to charge you for that. So, and if you don't want to pay that higher premium, then let's just skip that. You'll be forever attached to me until you decide to walk away. I'll give you a redundancy plan where you want to walk away. It's going to cost you X amount, and I'll do some transfer for you where now you can walk away. But definitely keep yourself in the loop somehow. Engineer in your proposal. And that's what I would do in my proposal. And my proposal, for example, I have clients, they don't want to pay a huge amount for their development services. No problem. Where I'm at and how I've positioned my company, I can literally go out right now and I can go right over, you can't see it, but right over here, one of these buildings right here is a huge college. And I've got 2 more colleges that are literally within 10 minutes walking distance of here. And they're just technology colleges. They're IT colleges. They're just kicking out engineers, software engineers is all they're kicking out, right? So I can go over there. I can grab this guy right out of college. I get this guy for $250. By the time I have all my administrative overhead, this guy cost me maximum $400. So I can easily sell this guy out, and I can easily make some money from this guy, right? So I've got some guys, they don't want to pay a huge amount. They don't want to pay a huge amount. So can I get you a software engineer for $6 an hour? Yeah, hell yeah, I can. Now, you're not going to get some dude that I recruited from Microsoft, from IBM, but you will get a college level graduate that I've trained for 3 months that can develop anything that you want to, let's say, some 0.35 to some 0.55 efficiency of some senior guy. All right. So what does that mean? It's going to take him 2 to 3 times as much time to do what it would take that senior guy to do. So can I get you that guy for $6 an hour? Yeah, sure. You only have a $6 an hour budget. That's no problem at all. I can work with that if that's all the money that you have. But guess what? If I'm giving you that deal today, I'm going to make sure that somehow I'm going to recuperate all the benefit that you're getting, and I'm going to get that in a longer term service contract. How am I going to do that? Hey, I own your server, buddy. No big deal. I'm going to set up your server. I'm going to create your server. Whenever I push all the code, it's going to be on your server. But ultimately, I am going to control that server. That is my server. So guess what? You can't walk away. You can't leave, because if you leave, well, I've got your server, buddy. So see you later, man. Goodbye. Go to the next guy, because I got your whole server. Now, you want that server? Here's a redundancy plan. Okay, I will deliver you this server and all the source, but guess what? Where I would have charged you $15 an hour for that same resource, but I only charged you $6, I will now go in and recuperate all that value, because the reason I'm charging you $6 instead of $15 is because I am counting on this long-term service contract that I know you're bound to give me, because I own your server. You want to leave, you want to walk away and hire somebody else, you're not going to find a cheaper guy, but let's say you do. No problem. I've got a redundancy plan that I'll outline in my proposal that will manage that, and you will now go in, and I've worked 100 hours for you, and I'm charging you $6 instead of $15. So now you owe me $900, because you owe me $9 an hour for 100 hours. So you give me that $900 value, and I'll give you your server, and we're free to part ways. You don't want to come up with that? Well, guess what? You can continue to get that lower rate, and I'll continue to make sure that I have positioned myself where you don't take advantage of my deal and then just walk away. So you need to figure out how to do that. And then definitely outline. I see a lot of people, what they do, and I've in my position, I've had so many people that have came in and literally they have asked me to do something, asked me for a quote on something, and somebody has said, they want this website built, and somebody's given them a quote for $10,000. Now they come to me and they ask me, and I give them a quote of $18,000. All right. So now I go in and give them this $18,000 quote. You know what I'm doing different than the other guys doing? Absolutely nothing. We're doing the exact same thing, providing the exact same service. Why are they willing to pay me more than that other guy? Well, they're willing to pay me more because that other guy does not properly show the value that he's actually going to give. He's taking all these inferences. I'm going to build your software. I'm going to test your software. Well, a lot of people are actually going to infer that software must be tested, right? So you make the inference, well, I'm going to build a software, I have to test it. So you infer that everybody just knows that you're going to do that. Well, guess what? Not everybody knows that. Those people don't understand that. And even if they do know that, right? Even if they know you must be testing my software, if they don't see it physically written down somewhere, I will test your software. I'm going to spend X amount of hours spending your software. That translates to X amount of value. When they look and they evaluate your cost, then if they don't see $10,000 or more with the value, they're not going to give you $10,000. So I'll take the same proposal given by the other guy and literally just take that proposal and I'll go in and fill in all the blanks of stuff that I know he will do that he just didn't outline in his proposal to show that guy the things that he's going to do and the value that it's going to create. So I'll just physically go in and I'll fill in the blanks in that proposal and I'll fill in all the things that guy forgot to mention that he's going to actually do that have X amount of value associated. I'll put them into my proposal, send the dude out the same proposal, and he's like, hell yeah, I'll pay you $8,000 more than that guy. I didn't want to pay that guy $10,000 for the same thing. Why? Because when he gave his presentation, he left out all those pieces of value that he's going to create. And if you do that, you're going to sell yourself short, man. If you're going to do anything that you can assume and simulate some value, you need to outline that in your proposal and in the price you're going to charge somebody and show them, hey, here's this thing. It has this much value, so I'm charging you for that. Here's this thing, has this much value. I'm charging you for that thing. Because if not, you can't leave it to your client to put two and two together. You can't leave it for that guy to go use his own brain and think. Because most of the time, trust me, even I've got clients that have paid me to this date $250,000 to maintain their website and build out their website. So I worked for Galver. These guys are a huge realtor association in Las Vegas. It's the greatest Las Vegas realtor association. Manage all their website. I manage their MLS database. I built a complete replica of Rapatoni. Okay, these guys have paid us an obnoxious, a large amount of money. But anything that I do that is going to give these guys value, trust me, I'm going to outline that in a proposal and I'm going to show them exactly how that thing is giving them value so that they're willing to pay that. Because if I leave it to these guys and leave it to them to use their brain and put together, they're not going to do it. The majority of your clients, honestly, if you really think that the majority of your clients are physically going to read your entire proposal, you're wrong, buddy. They got 6 proposals sitting on their desk. They're not physically going to read every single one of them. They're going to look them over and basically measure content. And they're going to kind of skim them over. And they're going to go with the one that's presented in a very visual appearing way and the one that has the most content. So if you're the guy that can do that, you're the guy that's going to actually win. So if you don't account for all the value you're going to create for somebody, they're not going to be willing to do that. So definitely you need to work on those things a little bit. And I charge, man, how I charge, I come up with a base based on the value that I'm going to provide you. I use that as a starting point, and then I do the rest of how I'm going to charge based on what I think I can get you to pay. So if I don't think I can get you to pay $10,000, I'm not going to price myself at $10,000 because I think I'm going to price myself out of your reach. So I'm going to first look and come up with a minimum price that I need based on the amount of work that I'm going to actually do. So now I've got a minimum price. Now I've got this maximum price based on the assumed value that I can actually create. Now, most of the time, my price is going to fall between the minimum price and that maximum price based on the value that I'm bringing to the table. But sometimes, very seldom, and if you can find these guys, you just target these guys and go after these guys. Sometimes you can price yourself outside of that value because some people just have arbitrage budgets. Some people can just pay $20,000 for something that they should only pay $10,000 for, and they'll just do it because they don't have a high value on that $20,000 because these guys are making $7 million a year and $20,000 doesn't mean much to them, so they don't value it very much. But you won't find those guys very often, so you need to price yourself somewhere above the minimum cost that you need for that service, and between the actual value that you're going to provide, somewhere in between there, whatever is within reach of that client, that's where you need to price yourself. Because if you price yourself outside of their reach, buddy, they just ain't going to buy from you because they just don't got the money. So unless you give them the money to make up for the money that they don't have, they won't buy from you. So, and you could do that. You could go in and price yourself outside of their reach and say, because I like you, and I really like your business model, and I really like your philosophy, and I've just loved sitting here bullshitting with you. This is going to be $10,000, but I feel like we've got a connection. So I know you don't have the budget, so I'm going to work with you. But to work with you, I need you to work with me. So I know you can only afford $5,000. Granted, let's say my minimum cost is $1,000, and my value that I'm giving is, let's say, some $11,000. So I'm going to give you the price of $10,000 so that there's a net benefit and value in your favor. So I know you can't afford that $10,000. So I'll work with you. I can get you in on $5,000, but I need your help. I need you to go catch me a couple fish, man. And just instead of you eating those fish up, I need you just to throw those fish right inside my boat. So you got a couple buddies. They're just running businesses just like you. Those guys got some money. So you go catch those guys for me. You refer me a couple clients, and then guess what? I'll cut you a sweet deal, buddy. Or I'll just caress you, and I'll just completely BS you and tell you, I love you so much. I'll give you a deal, and I'll come down and I'll meet you because I want to help you. And I know if I help you right now, that's going to create some additional money for you. And then 3 months down the road, I can come hit you back up for ask you to buy another service. Remember that $5,000 deal that I gave you 3 months ago and I made you some money? Well, buy another service for me and pay full price for it this time. So you got to price yourself in greater than the cost, less than the value that you're going to provide, but within the attainable reach of the client that you're trying to go after. And if you do that, then you'll probably get a client that will pay you. So that's the best answer I can give you for what the best price for the best price for my service is the most that you will pay me. That is the best price for my service. The maximum amount that you will pay me, that's my ideal price, man. Nothing less. A little bit more, if I could get a little bit more, obviously if I can get more than the maximum you're willing to pay me, I'll take that too. But I definitely want the maximum that you're willing to pay me. That would be the best price for me. So what else?
I got a quick question there, John.
Yeah, what's up, Junior?
Hey, it will help everyone else, and I'd just like to ask, what's one thing that you know that people don't know about ManyChat that you think should know?
I guess lots of things. So lots of different things. A lot of people don't know that you can just move this guy around easily all over the place. So I know that. A lot of people don't know that you can just grab this guy and hit Control V and copy and paste him over and over and over again as many times as you want. a lot of people don't know that you can just hit the shift key and go in and select all these guys and then hit Control C and copy them into another group of people and go in and easily create these different content blocks. A lot of people don't know all that stuff. So, but other than that, I would say my advantage isn't so much in knowing things in ManyChat, because ManyChat is straightforward. My advantage is being able to engineer solutions through Zapier or third-party applications that other people just can't think of. But ManyChat's pretty straightforward once you learn all the ins and outs. So I would say just a couple little shortcuts that make your life easier, a couple best practices that I use that make your life easier, like creating these generic flows so that you can reuse them over and over and over again. Yep.
Yeah.
You too, Dennis. If you guys could just give me 30 seconds, let me just go to the bathroom real quick.
So how is everyone doing today in this group?
Well, it's 9:30 at night here. I'm not sure what time it is for you, Junior.
Right. Where's everyone from anyway?
I'm in New Jersey in the States. How about you?
Wow. I'm in Perth, Australia.
Nice. Opposite side of the world.
Opposite side of the world, yeah. And what does everyone do in this group?
I'm doing online marketing. I think a lot of folks are probably doing something similar. What about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm a personal trainer and an online coach with a personal training business. So, yeah, similar online marketing, just to market myself online.
Interesting. How do you see coaches and gyms using this?
Which one?
Chatbots. Like from your perspective, how do you see gyms using this?
Yeah, well, where I'm from in Perth, Australia, it's I don't think many people know about it, gym stuff like that. So once they get a hold,
but how would you use it though? You know about it, so how would you see implementing something like this where you are in your niche?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I want to run a subscription service, deliver content into ManyChat and stuff like that. I was talking to John the other week about doing like a ad that says health assessment or free health assessment or fitness assessment, and then I deliver the content in ManyChat. And there's endless for the fitness industry. There's so much you can do. There's like too much. I don't know what to do. You know.
Well, I can answer that question for you, Junior. Spend a little bit more time thinking and brainstorming, weigh out your options, and figure out which option is going to give you the most value and get you closer to your end goal. Focus on that guy and just get that guy done first.
Yeah.
Okay. Focus on one thing. Yeah. That's true, because I always tell my clients, they have sometimes they come to me with a lot of goals, and I always tell them, you got too many goals. You've only got one ass. You can't sit on two horses.
One thing at a time, man. Do the first thing. If you want to do two things at a time, you can do maximum two things at a time if you're a normal person. And the things that you can do is do one thing, think about and plan another thing. So you can be implementing one thing, and whenever you get bored of implementing that or you need a break from that, you can go think about thing two and plan its implementation process. And unless you're a genius guy like me, then you don't want to try to do anything more than that, because if you do that, you're most likely not going to get anything done, or you're actually going to be working at an unoptimal, de-efficient rate where you could have got thing one done in 5 hours, but since you're focusing on so many different things, you're going to actually end up spending 10 hours or 15 hours into actually getting thing one done. So it's just going to take you much longer to do it. So definitely focus out on what you're actually wanting to do.
True. Good advice.
So you asked, you asked D, is it possible to integrate the bot in your ERP? So an ERP is an enterprise resource planning. So it's a third-party piece of software that you use to basically manage your resources, right? So the answer to this is yes. How you can come up with this answer is you have two ways. You can go into Zapier here real quick, and you can go to Explore, and you can use your, you know what ERP that you use or you want to integrate with. You just pipe in their name here, and if they come back with some result, then you can most likely integrate ManyChat with those guys. If they don't come in here, then you just come over here to Google. You put in their name here. If you want to put in their name here, D, then we can just look at them. But then you'll just look for them on Google, and you'll find out through their and see if they have a public API. If they have a public API, you'll basically see if they use a SOAP API or a REST API. So if they use a SOAP API, it's going to be a real pain. If they use a REST API, then most likely you'll be able to create. Most likely, I say you, but most likely by you doing it, what you'll need to do is you'll need to hire somebody like me that will be able to go in and create, basically use a Zapier webhook to go in and post data directly to their API and push data from ManyChat into their API.
I see. Okay, good to know, because I use an Odoo ERP for my stuff.
So how do you spell that? Odoo?
O-D-O-O.
Like that?
Correct.
So we'll just ask Zapier, do you know anything about Odoo? And he does not know anything about Odoo. So now we'll look over here and we'll look open source ERP and CRM. So we'll look over here and we'll just come right down here to the bottom because this is where they'll probably tell us that over here. And looking at them right off the bat, they don't have any developer portal whatsoever, but they have this actual GitHub guy. So I'm assuming that these guys, what they do is they allow you to launch this on your own server, and you have your own server running an instance of their application. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. It's an open source ERP, and the engineer that I have been working with has tweaked it to be usable by entrepreneurs and brick and mortars and such like that. I'm pretty sure he would have the knowledge and ability to do some kind of API integration, but I was just
so you'd want to have your engineer, or you'd want to acquire a new engineer, but you'd want to have your engineer. Obviously, if you have one already that's been working, it's probably just going to be easier for you to query him and have him. And if he's capable of doing it, that's your best option. You'll just have him go in, and he needs to create some public endpoints. And then once he creates those public endpoints, then you can go into Zapier and you can use a Zapier webhook, and then you can just post data to those custom endpoints that he's created. Or since you already have an engineer, he can literally go in for your custom version of the ERP. He can literally go in and create your own Zapier integration so that you or anybody else who uses it can easily integrate with Zapier, because you can just create your own Zapier app and you can just have him go in and create that Zapier application for you.
I see. Good to know. You have no idea how many pages of notes I've gotten from today. It's been all very educational.
I'd say probably around 7 at this point.
Yeah, let me see.
Sounds like more than 7.
Yeah. Just for today, 21, but I guess I have big, wild, crazy, sloppy handwriting, so that's why.
Well, that's good. It's good that you're taking notes. So,
Thank you.
So what else?
I think. Let me see. Okay, so I have a question. For instance, one client that I've worked with in the past is a nutritionist and has a health supplement, of which we were setting up kind of like an autoresponder, an auto payment, so that people could have and automatically deducted from their checking account and shipped to them every 2, 3, 4 or 5 months, dependent on how they want it shipped. Is there a way a bot can be integrated into that to order products from you?
Yeah. So how are you accepting the payment right now? AHC draft or something like that?
Yes, correct.
So if you could just get them to switch from an AHC draft to using something like my invoicing platform, where you could create a product invoice that puts them on a recurring monthly subscription where they could go in and pay with their debit card, so it will come right out of their checking account, then you could go in and automate that process really easy. So if you want to continue with the AHC process, you can do that, but you're going to have some manual overhead and the actual maintenance of going in and making sure, everybody paid the payment. And whenever you've got a new person that's paid the payment, you go in and update the information in there. But if you're physically wanting to say, hey, you make this payment, and if you made this payment, I'm going to ship you out a new product, then if you don't want to do the manual overhead, you need to switch to some platform that will integrate with the bot, like this invoicing platform that we created specifically for that.
Okay, I see. That's good to know. Okay, so can something like this, a bot, tell me this then, because my mind goes wild with all the ways it can be used. What about a tutor bot? Like, what about those in the education field who have some kind of, they want to maintain contact either with their colleagues and or their students? Has that ever been done before?
Well, I can't really answer if it has ever been done before, because I don't know. I don't know about every bot that's ever been created, but I would say somebody's probably done it. And yes, you can totally do it. Can you do it in MiniChat? Yes, you can. It's just not going to be as robust in MiniChat as if you build a custom bot. If you build a custom bot, you can use something like AWS Lex. You can use a natural language processor that could go in and actually decipher natural language and derive from a natural language input what somebody's intent is for that. So with MiniChat, it's a little bit harder to pick up on natural languages. So you could have some keyword, and you can go in and say, hey, if somebody gives me this keyword, or if they give me a message that contains this keyword, I want to go in and serve this content, right? But let's say in MiniChat, you don't have any way to go in and do something like say, hey, if a message contains good but does not contain not, right? Because now at this point, if I have a message, let's say I ask you how you are, and I've got some keyword that listens and says, hey, if you're good, give you this message, right? So if your input contains good, well, now if you tell me that you're not good, it's going to trigger on that good, because good is contained inside that message. So now I'm going to be saying, great, I'm glad you're doing today. And you're going to be cussing me saying, look, I just told you I'm not doing good. So now you can kind of do it with MiniChat, because you can add with their conditional variables, you can check more, but so it can be done. But the amount of overhead and infrastructure that you're going to have to spend going in and building out. So in natural language, you have things called intents. Okay. So for example, what's an intent? What are your business hours? Give user my business hours. That is an intent. A user wants to get my business hours. Now, with that intent, you have these other things called utterances. Now, the utterances are literally the combinations of natural languages. If you think a natural language is literally just tokens, right? They're tokens. They're little key tokens inside that match conform to an actual pattern. They conform to a pattern based on a position in a token string. So not only based on the position, but also the token, also the content inside that token. All right. So now you can begin to understand that you can begin to understand that there are so many different ways that in a natural language like the English language that a user could go in and ask you, what are your business hours? There's so many utterances that could invoke that intent. So in ManyChat, you're going to have to go out and build every single utterance, and that's going to take you a huge amount of overhead. With a custom bot using a natural language processor engine, well, you're going to give a couple utterances, and as you give those few utterances, then the bot's either going to learn on its own other utterances that should invoke that intent and automatically add those to you, or it's going to basically notify you, hey, here's an utterance that doesn't match any intent. Do you want to assign this guy to an intent? And every time you go through that process and assign a new utterance to an intent, you're going to increase the AI so that now that he knows, okay, similar utterances to this should also invoke this intent. And that guy, that NLP engine is going to learn over time and get smarter and smarter every single day as people give a different permutation of an utterance to invoke that intent. So with ManyChat, you're going to have to manually go in and do that and update that. But you can still accomplish it. You can totally still accomplish it.
Okay.
See you, Junior.
Bye.
So just so you know, Amar, this service here that costs $10 a month, this service basically just, let's say this training session, it's recorded. And so is every other live training session that I've done, almost every other one. This training session, the whole training session isn't recorded. Like the first 45 minutes of it wasn't recorded because I forgot to record it. But every training session pretty much gets recorded. So the $10 a month gets you access to all those training sessions. Inside my bot, I've got a bunch of examples on how to do this, how to do that. And inside the bot, there's a little button that says, teach me how. If you click that button, teach me how, then I will deliver you a tutorial that walks you through how to actually do that thing in your bot. But that guy costs $10 a month. If you want that guy, you need to pay $10 a month. If not, I won't deliver you that content. I'll deliver you and say, hey, you need to go in and pay me for that content. So you could basically get that. Literally what would happen is it would be inside here, and oops, I've got a CSV token that I need to go in and refresh. Oh, that's actually the wrong guy right there is the problem. That's affiliate marketing promotions. I need to come in here and log out, and then I'll just give it to you because literally that bot is just going to reference a product invoice that comes from this platform right here. And that bot is just going to route you to this guy right here that says this is to access all my how-to videos and advanced bot tutorials inside my demo bot. So my bot's just going to route you to that guy right there, and he's just going to ask you to pay that invoice right there. And then whenever you pay that invoice, he'll update you that you've paid for the content, and he'll now deliver you all the premium content. So that's what I was telling that guy, Brian. So what else? Hey, Jerry. So anything that you want to learn, Jerry? Any questions that you want to ask? Anything that you want to see done? Any things that I can show you how to do or teach you, or any questions I can answer you? Oh, so let's take a look at that real quick. While we're there, let's just take a look and find out where did I put that link at. So let's see what happens there. Oh, that does have, so sorry, I gave you the wrong link is what's happened there. Let me just go in and actually get you the right link. It's that guy right there. So that's the problem. I just gave you the right link. That guy is the right link. So that's the right link right there. So anything else you guys want to see?
I don't know. My brain is swimming as we speak in information.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. That's the way I like it.
That's how I like it too. So I like you guys to realize that you've got a lot of value from this, and you want to come back to the next one, and then at some point you realize that, hey, maybe I want to give this guy some money, or at least share his link or something. At least share his link. At least talk to him, to my friends that have some money. At least something like that. So I want to make sure that you guys get plenty of value whenever you come to these training sessions and learn whatever you want to do. That's the whole point of having them. So. So what else, guys? Anything else that you want to go over? Anything else that you want to talk about while we're here? How often will I make video calls? You mean how often will we do these things right here? Is that what you mean? How often will we have these things? So I'll do at least 2 of these a day, every day up until Saturday when our actual live training session starts. So this training session starts on 12/2, and all these pre-sessions are just basically build up for those live training sessions. So until these live training sessions, which is 4 days from now, so for 4 more days, we'll have at least 2 of these sessions a day. And then basically every day I'll go in and everybody who signed up for this training that have notified me that they're interested in these pre-training sessions, I'll send them a flow that says, hey, I'm going to do some live trainings today. Do you want me to notify you today? Yes, not today, or you're annoying me, something like that. If they say you're annoying me, unsubscribed. If they say not today, then I'll say no problem, I'll hit you back tomorrow. If they say yes, then I'll tag them that they want to do pre-training sessions today. And then about 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes before I actually start the live training, I'll send everybody out a link that told me yes, they want to be notified today. And then I'll let them know, hey, I'll be starting a new training at 11 a.m. That's 15 minutes from now. Here's a link to join the training.
John.
Yes.
The very first day, Saturday, on your live training event, I am detained in the morning at an authors summit, and then in the evening I will be doing a jam session, writing songs. Do you know about when this is scheduled so I can figure out how to squish it into my day?
Yeah, so everything's scheduled right here. So here's the schedule. Here's the schedule right here. We have a class from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We have a class from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., a class from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Most of these classes, though, are guest speakers that are going to come in and talk to us about something that is not particularly bot building, but is related to what we're doing in our bot building, like Facebook advertising or creating content or affiliate marketing or the mini chat CEO. And then somewhere here is a sales guy. But he just hasn't confirmed which one of these slots he wants to do it. So, and then we have a session from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. All times are in Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Thanks, owner. So if you can't make it to that, so if you can't make it to the live training sessions and you want to have access to these live training sessions, then what you want to do is you want to come right here and you want to take this action right here. And if you take this action, you'll get a lot of different values. And one of those values is going to be you will get access to all these training replays. So I'll record all the training sessions and then you'll get access to all of those guys.
Okay.
But those will be the times that they are. So those are the times that everything's going on. It's 7 hours a day.
Okay, I'm gonna get my pajamas on.
Okay, I'm gonna get my pajamas on too.
Thank you. It's probably about that time for you. Yeah, baby. Hold
So what else, guys? Anything else you want to go over, talk about why we're here? My day never ends. You know, it's like 8:30 right now. I still got a whole day worth of going in and talking to contractors about getting all our furniture set up for a new office move. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of guys come into work in like 2 hours, and I'll have to tell them probably what they should be doing for the day. And then I'm probably actually going to make one more of these training sessions because it is actually, well, I probably won't make more because it's 10 p.m. Eastern. So what is that in PST? Some of those guys, it's 6 p.m. So some of those guys might benefit from that, but I don't know if I'll actually create another one. Is what really worth it? So is what really worth it, Amar? Is it worth it to stay up for another 2 hours, 3 hours and give my time out for free to another group of people? Yeah, if I give enough free time and people end up actually paying me for that free time, then I'll say, yeah, it's obviously worth it. So if I make enough impressions and provide enough value and help enough people, then I would know, as if I go in and actually take this action right here and I get to a screen that's wanting some payment, then I would see right here that if you add enough value, you will never have to worry about money ever again. So is it worth it if I spend another 3 hours just creating a lot of value and creating a lot of value for people? For me, yeah, it's totally worth it, because unless you guys are complete psychopaths, whatever value that I create today, it will be a little seed that I've just planted that will sprout into some plant that's going to eventually, even if I or you or together us go in and water that guy, feed that guy, and make him grow and get him to the point where he create some flowers and create some fruit, well, then I could go in and say, hey, remember that seed? Do you remember that apple tree that got all those apples? Remember where you got that seed from, man? I planted that seed. I helped you take care of that seed. I helped you take care of that plant. And I don't even want all the apples. Just give me a bushel of them. You got 100 bushels of them. Just give me one bushel. And either you're a psychopath and you're going to be like, no, I'm keeping all the apples. And then I'll be like, all right, buddy, no problem. You just have those apples because obviously you need them much more than me. Or you're going to be like, yeah, sure, no problem, John. Here's a bushel of apples. You need another bushel? You got a friend, they want some bushels? No problem. I got some extra bushels, and thanks a lot. So, yeah, it's totally worth it to me, I say. So, see, Dee's gonna say, yeah, you can have some apples. Besides that, I'll even make you a pie. So totally,
Yes.
I love pie.
Right? You have apples, we make pie.
That's right.
Okay.
So anything else you guys want to see while we're here?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and end this session. It's been a great one. I will probably still do one more session. If you guys want to catch it, I will probably still do one more session at around 8 p.m. Central Pacific time. So what that translates into EST is going to be at 11 p.m. EST. So I'll probably still do one more, and I will send you guys out a notification when that one starts. But it has been great, and I've really enjoyed it, guys. So I will see you later on today or some